Hello and welcome back to another Slay of Spire stream. I'm your host, Vegetablebread, and today we're going to be starting off with a Defect run. Well, let's get into it. Remove a card from the deck, get 100 gold, remove 2 cards from the deck for all of my gold, or swap out for a boss relic. I do like card removes, although sort of my rule of thumb is we don't want to remove one before we've fought our first elite, unless we've got like a couple of other attacks, because you don't want to end up fighting an elite with no attack in your deck. You pretty much need all your early strikes to kill Lagavulin and such. Probably going to be looking for a 3 elite path here. Without cheating, Nightmare, Wish, Courier is practically infinite value. Yep. Yeah, Nightmare, Wish is would be a lot of gold by itself. A Courier is something. Wow. 134 among Switch users is pretty impressive. 3170 with which character? Doesn't really shop here. No options to take 250 gold. Probably going to start with this elite so that we can skip the shop and then still do 3 elites. Get a nice little late shop here, a couple of question marks. There's no way to fight 3 fights before him. It's either 2 or 4. A couple of ways to get 4. I think we'll probably just do 4 fights before the elite. It's probably fine. Oh, wow. Dang, many elite. That's crazy. I guess the Switch population is smaller, but I don't know if it's... I suspect it's not 10 times smaller. Maybe it is. There is a 100 gold option. So maybe we go to this shop. That does let us get 3 fights and a question mark before a shop, which I think is a little bit better, but it forces us to not do the boss relic swap, which we probably want to do. Dang, 72? Holy crap. Let's do boss relic swap. Alright, no potions this run. That's fine. Not a big deal. We have Sozu, so we can play all the cards. Take 7. Can't play all the cards here, but we also don't have lethal, so might as well block out and not take damage. Try and set up lethal for next turn. Again, no lethal, but we can block out. And there we go. 7 damage Jawworm fight. Ball Lightning is probably my favorite floor 1 pick. Sozu says Ball Lightning is even better because we don't have this starting Lightning Orb, so we need something to trigger the dual cast. Yeah, also extra energy means that extra card draw is better, and Ball Lightning is sort of card draw adjacent with Compile Driver. Sure. This is not useful. Okay. Bummer. The 1 question mark was useless. Dual cast or defend. Get strike zap next turn, that's guaranteed 9 damage. This does 16. So we'd have to find 1 more strike. Versus it doing 3 and then he'd be at 24. 24 minus 9 is unlikely to be lethal next turn if we don't dual cast. Okay. Oh, we didn't get lethal anyway. I'll go ahead and just triple defend zap. Probably still get lethal next turn. Yeah. Sweeping Beam is probably the pick here. Kind of sucks to skip White Noise. White Noise is super great most of the time with Defect, but Sweeping Beam... we're going through an early hard pool fight, so this could be like Gang of Slimes, and we need some AoE to handle that. Sweeping Beam is fine. Alright, Zap dual cast, who do you want? Okay. Let's go and start with Sweeping Beam. And get lethal, I guess. Cool. Alright, so we ended up taking 7 total damage to our easy pool fights. Hologram, Leap, and Auto Shields, I think these are all takeable, so we're probably taking our first defensive card here. Hologram always has some interesting interactions. Madness, Claw, All for One, Turbo. Just lots of weird stuff you can do with Hologram. Just getting a bunch of energy in 2 holograms is another thing. But it only blocks for 3 right now, whereas Auto Shields blocks for 11. I'm gonna go with Auto Shields. Leap also blocks for 9, but might as well go with Auto Shields if I want a block card. Okay. Gang of Gremlins. Glad we've got the Auto Shields. I can't kill either one of these this turn. I guess I could get lucky and double strike Sneaky Gremlin, he could die. I think I want to defend. Super bad outcome for this floor. I guess I'll go ahead and dual cast. It might kill somebody. Or let us kill somebody. It does not. Darn, really bad damage spreading. Alright. 5 plus 4 is 9, so we can kill Fat Gremlin finally. And continue taking a bunch of damage. Well, that was terrible. Second Sweeping Beam, second Ball Lightning, or Steam Barrier. I think I like second Ball Lightning. This is going to be a really tough elite fight. Good morning, Sherwins. No potions, 17 health. Pretty basic deck. Do we win any of these? Maybe we should just skip. We'd have to kill Gremlin Knob on turn 3. We'd have to kill Lagavulin before he hits us twice, basically. Sentries we'd probably have to block out well into the first shuffle. Yeah, I don't think we ever survived this. I think we shouldn't do this fight. Really sidetracks our plan here. We get to an extra fire, which is nice, and an extra shop, which I guess is okay. We still get 1 elite in the act. But yeah, I don't think we can justify this decision. I think we die like 90+% of the time. And we're on a win streak. We gotta keep it going. Means we gotta survive Act 1, right? You don't get to keep your win streak going if you die in Act 1. Alright. Auto Shields is super good here. Blocking him exactly. Alright. Got through Looter pretty well. We're gonna need to pick something crazy. Heat Sinks, maybe? Amplify? We got 2 Ball Lightnings, so taking an Amplify and looking for a defrag is a pretty fine plan. I honestly don't count Act 4, basically. For my money, anything that beats the Act 3 bosses is a win, because that's what Slay the Spire says. I do go for the heart. Yeah, my last Watcher run died to the heart, so technically, from my perspective, I'm on a 3-run win streak. Because Ironclad and Silent both got heart kills. We could buy heat sinks, go to a shop, and find a storm or something. Creative AI. Amplify also works well with those. I think if we're doing a power thing, do we want heat sinks or amplify? It looks like we're doing a power build. We just have to figure out which one of these is better. I don't know though. I mean, my usual like advice to people with Defect is you shouldn't force powers unless you see Mummified Hand, Birdface Urn, or there's another thing that lets me force powers. So for me, I like beating the heart, and beating the heart feels really good. But at the same time, there's a lot of decks that like can beat the heart that just don't, right? So I feel like if you get to the heart, you've sort of done as much as you can, and a lot of the time the heart just like randomly kills you. It's just like, oh no, like my corruption is in the bottom of my deck or something, right? Like a lot of I mean that silent run, there was no way we were losing to the heart. We were, you know, infinite every turn, but that run was insane, right? Like most runs don't do that. That's like a 1% of the time outcome. Most runs like can die to the heart. In fact, I think that Silent might be the only deck I've ever made that literally could not have died to the heart. There's like nothing that could have gone wrong. It was a 100% heart kill. But most decks don't have that. It's usually not possible. And it's such a big dice roll to like rest your whole run on like, all right, do I win this like, usually like 50-50 is the best you can get against the heart. But I do feel like you can pretty consistently kill the Act 3 bosses if you're playing correctly. Really stuck on this Amplify versus Heat Sinks thing. I guess I'll take a Heat Sinks. Heat Sinks can make some crazy stuff happen. It does really need like a Mummified Hand. Heat Sinks is kind of like Rushdown. It's like Rushdown for creative AI decks. But we're not a creative AI deck. Like, I probably just shouldn't do this, right? I should probably just skip. Like, what about this run is saying to me you have to force powers? Because we started with 2 ball lightnings and auto shields. Like, having extra energy does make forcing powers a lot better, right? Because it's easier to, like, play creative AI or Echo Form. Yeah, I feel like I'm in really bad shape, is the main thing. Like, this run is on life support already, because we are only getting 1 elite in Act 1. And since we're on life support, like, we needed to do... We have an option here for a big risk, big reward play. And I kind of feel like we have to take it. But maybe that's not true. Maybe we'll, like... I don't know. Maybe this ends up being, like, a Thunderstrike deck or something? I don't know. They do put us deeper in the hole, or they win us the run, right? Like... and if we rely on them to win the run, then maybe they do. I mean, plenty of things could win us the run, but if we don't see one of those things, we're gonna die in Act 2. We're not powerful enough. So I think we need to force one of those things, and maybe this is the thing, right? Like if we get a Heat Sinks here and we go to a shop and we see a creative AI, then like the thing that we needed to win happened. And if we don't pick a Heat Sinks, then that thing can't happen. It is terrible though. It's a curse. You don't see it as being on life support. Yeah, that's a pretty persuasive point. We might not be on life support, and picking something crazy might be totally irresponsible. I don't see it happening with one elite in Act 1. But I mean, we have some okay cards. 2 ball lightnings is okay. Auto shield is okay. I feel a lot better if this was a glacier. If the shop relic is like orange pellets, I feel pretty good about either Amplify or Heat Sinks, because we're going to want powers. Thanks, Guitar. My brother's getting married next week, so I'm gonna be out for the next week. and so I gotta get a haircut. Make myself presentable. Oop, I'm seeing some dropped frames. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I'm gonna grab the heat sinks. It's probably wrong. But if it's right, it could win us the run. Yeah, my wife was uploading something. We figured it out. Yeah, it's not the right thing to do though, right? Like I think it lowers our win percentage, even though it could feel really good. Like if it hits it, it does really good, but you know, I was a little bit hesitant to put A20 plus H on the stream title because it was because of that exact question, but it just means Ascension 20 plus Heart. I'm gonna change it back to Ascension 20. No, Guitar, that's great feedback. Don't apologize, because the fact that you didn't know and you come to the stream like really often means that like that's not an accessible headline and it shouldn't be the first thing in my stream title. Very helpful feedback. Yeah, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna obey my own advice. In before mummified hand. See, there's a storm. Really feel like I should have taken it now. Darn it. Rip and Tear's here. Rip and Tear's really nice. Wish I could afford the pocket watch. Yeah, that's fair. But like, if people are asking you all the time, doesn't that mean like it's not being a very effective stream title? Hey, Plasma Toast, how's it going? There is a prismatic shard here. What does prismatic shard defect do? We can exhaust stuff with ironclad. We can get like shivs or poison. We can stance change. We can just like use the good cards from other classes, get like Deva forms and stuff. That's true, we can get busted zero cost stuff. The prismatic defect has access to some kind of weird stuff. Prismatic defect, I did a series a while ago where I did all the combinations, and defect and watcher combinations are the best, because defect and watcher combinations have like energy manipulation stuff, and a lot of times prismatic shard, you end up with like, or not prismatic shard, but class combinations, you end up with really expensive decks, and they both have power manipulation stuff, so they tend to be compatible with each other. So it is nice. We don't have any energy manipulation stuff so far. Also, Watcher and Defect both have like class exclusive like big features, where Defect has the orb slots and Watcher has stance changing. So like if you start as an Ironclad and you get Prismatic Shard, then usually like the stance changing cards are useless, right? New player here. Any tips for Silent? Yeah, so Silent I think is probably the hardest one. I would anticipate your Silent decks to usually be poison focused, so you want to use poison for damage, and then focus a lot on blocking. Things like Apparition, Wraith Form are great, and try to time those blocks so that they last until your opponent succumbs to the poison, is the general plan, usually. So Prismatic Shard is definitely an option. If we think we're way behind, then Prismatic Shard could help us get into some shenanigans. It is nice because we're about to go see a bunch of card rewards. Like, we're going to see 4 card rewards in a row here. So if we pick Prismatic Shard, we have a couple of options to find some busted stuff. Prismatic Shard is also sort of a Hail Mary, akin to the, whatchamacallit? The Heatsinks Amplify play. Although, it doesn't require us to, like, have a Mummified Hand or anything. I haven't done a Shard run in a long time. Let's do one. It's very memey. It's probably not, like, correct. Probably the, like, the quote-unquote right play here is, like, Rip and Tear Storm card remove or something. But let's go with Prismatic Shard. Just, it's fun. Let's give it a shot. Oh, okay, we got a Shuriken. Okay, so we've got a attack scaling plan now. Prismatic Shard helps us get 0-cost attacks too. We can get like Shiv cards from Silent or like Anger. So we need to get a bunch of attacks and then focus on blocking, basically. Okay. We have a bunch of fights coming up, so it would be nice to just rest here. None of these upgrades are screaming for or none of these cards are screaming for an upgrade, so I think we're just gonna rest. Okay, Defend is happening, Ball Lightning's happening. I guess the buffing one is the biggest threat. I'll just hit him with a Strike, because him being at 6 is fine. And split all 3. Get a Strength. Hiya! Cool. Alright, the shenanigans begin. Mostly still just defect cards here, though. Just one Hemokinesis. We could take a Steam Barrier. I don't hate Steam Barrier. If we can find Kunai, then Steam Barrier is amazing. Shuriken definitely says we want to do all-for-one stuff. We're very unlikely to find all-for-one, though, with Shard. Since we're only going to see a quarter of our cards are going to be defect cards. I think there's better block cards in other classes. I think we don't need to take a Steam Barrier here. Compare Steam Barrier to, like, Deflect. Yeah, there's really good block cards. Okay, that's good. Okay, Acid Slime. Go ahead and proc Kunaya there. Do we want to play Dual Cast? Does 16 damage, reduces him to 36. 36 is above his split, and it's a pretty good one. Oh, crap. We do not want to split him at his maximum value here. That was literally the exact wrong value. Okay. Did my math wrong, restarted the fight. I've been thinking of trying Robo Wizard, so I'm watching this. Yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. We can just Auto Shields Defend. And let's see. If we do Zap, we do 6 damage, reduce him to 41, minus another 5 would put him at 36. That's exactly where we want him to be, so. And then we split him next turn. Or we just kill him. That works too. 2 floors in a row tried to give us a flex spot. Okay. Now we're starting to see some different stuff. Prepared, backflip. If you say you split the slime boss perfectly badly, did you like split him at exactly, what is it, like, in my head it's 240, but that's Time Lord. Is it 75? Yeah, so you split him at 75 and then split them at what would it be, 34? I don't hate a backflip with Sozu. I'll take a backflip. Grab my knob here to punish the backflip. It says, excuse me, did you just pick a skill? Did you know about Gremlin Knob? I do actually know about Gremlin Knob. I picked a skill anyway, Gremlin Knob. What do you feel about that? What are you going to do about it, Gremlin Knob? We have 6 at the end of turn and 16 now. That's not lethal. So I think we skip the dual cast. Okay. should be lethal. Hiya. Ceramic fish. There's a corruption. Consume, concentrate. Not taking consume, I don't think. I guess consume is so the reason I was thinking we don't take consume is because consume is best when you have some source of orb slots, be that capacitor or like creative AI into capacitor or like runic inserter. But then now that I'm thinking about it, a couple of the sources of orb slots are actually not cards, and it's worse to take consume when you're depending on a card to get orb slots because we're going to see less defect cards. But we're, several of the sources are not cards because there's the capacitor, the runic capacitor you can buy at a shop, and then there's runic inserter, which is a boss relic, and we're still eligible for both of those at the same rate as normal. So it could just take consume. I'm pretty excited about the corruption though. I feel like corruption is one of those cards for prismatic shard that's like pretty much always busted. We have a backflip. Backflip corruption is pretty nuts. Sorry, yeah. Let's stack up those exercise redemptions. We're up to 21 because I'm too lazy. Maybe we find Dead Branch. Corruption plus Shuriken's super good too because we can play 3 attacks a turn and still block after we've played Corruption. Yeah, people have been redeeming more exercise rewards than I've been doing, partially because I like forget about them, and mostly because people have just been redeeming them super aggressively for the past like week. So, what can you do? Let's say Corruption. I don't know when it's going to be good, but it's going to be good. Okay, we've blocked out. Did a little bit of a strike. Want to know how my run ended with Sword Boy? What is this? What is Sword Boy? What do you mean? But sure. Okay, backflip, defend, blocks out. Zap is more damage than strike. For me to redeem 78 of them. Yeah, see, that's the problem. It's like, you could. You can just do that. We could Corruption, defend, dual cast, Sweeping Beam. Wait, do we have lethal? 16 plus 4 plus 5 is 25. Plus 6 at the end of the turn. We do have lethal. Great. Thinking over. See, this is what I'm talking about. Every time I talk about exercise rewards, I just dig myself in a hole. People are like, oh yeah, I could do that, sure. Alright, Mr. Wolfheart's got 5 of them. 6. He's still going. 7. Oh, we got 8 now. Alright, fair enough. I think we're skipping all these. Clash is kind of fun with Shuriken. So is Go for the Eyes. If we're looking for like a bunch of card draw and some attacks, and a loud cat, then Go for the Eyes makes a lot of sense. We don't really have the draw to support that. I have, at this point in my streaming career, accepted the fact that I'm just not able to count how many arm curls I do during an exercise reward. I think I'm just going to be okay with that. Because I just, like, I'd rather be interesting and continue talking while I'm doing my exercise reward than I would, like, keep a perfect count for no reason. Okay. I guess we rest, because we don't survive this fight otherwise. Okay. This deck is a mess. What are we doing here? Punching that slime boss, that's what we're doing. Power right in the kisser. Can we play all 3 attacks without splitting them? We do 6 at the end of the turn, plus 8, plus 14. 8 plus 14 is 22, plus 6 is 28. Yes, we can. Okay. Probably just auto shields defend ball lightning. That does 9 damage at the end of the turn, leaves him at 84. Dual cast would do an additional 13, which is too much. Okay. Well, both of those things are true. Oh, crap. I did my math wrong. Sorry. Okay. There's nothing bad about the shard, it's just that it gets us into trouble. Why was this math wrong? It was 9 plus 9? Did I say 8 or something? 9 plus 9 is 18. Yep, that splits them, sure enough. I guess if we're gonna split them, we might as well get a good split. We could, like, Ball Lightning Corruption dual cast. Okay. Alright. Corruption's taking over now. It's our last zap. Yeah, Prismatic Shard is not bad. It's just, like, it's not obvious why it's good. You have to kind of, like, take the Prismatic Shard and then, like, lots of weird new possibilities are opened, and sometimes those weird new possibilities win you the run. Sometimes they don't, and when they don't, you paid a bunch of money for something that didn't really help you. So 16, Spike Slime is usually the higher priority. I don't see any reason to change that here. Alright, both defenses are getting played, I'm pretty sure. What do you mean by literally the worst? Oops. Ooh, good lightning strikes. I mean, it's definitely not literally the worst, right? It can totally win you the run, win you a run. We're gonna hold the backflip, save it. I mean, it is guaranteed to lose you money, but it's also guaranteed to get you, or not guaranteed, but likely to get you some sort of interesting combination. Alright, setting up a pretty good split here on Acid Slime. Looks like we're winning the fight. I think that Prismatic Shard requires you to think in really unusual ways, and that, like, if you like have practiced a bunch with Prismatic Shard, I bet you'd have a really high win percentage. Actually, I think that shard runs are actually, like, pretty powerful because you're just, like, way outside of the realm of the normal balance of the game. But I think that a lot of times you'll trip over yourself if you Prismatic Shard. It seems like Deva form is the clear pick here. We have, let's see, we have Corruption, and we want, like, a bunch of card draw to go with that, and Deva form plus card draw plus Shuriken wins fights, right? So I think that's probably the plan now, is Deva form card draw. Juggernaut's nice too. Juggernaut is super good. Rainbow I think is way the worst pick here. Rainbow might be worse than Skip. We're very unlikely to see Focus, so what is the symbol on Deva form? There's a lot of symbols. There's different relics here. So she's got, like, a Vajra and a Juzu bracelet and a whatchamacallit? Oh, this is the watcher symbol for energy, so we'll just get energy. And then this is, what is this? The one that gives you 2 extra energy? Singing Bowl. I don't know why they chose those 3 relics, but... Alright, I gotta pick that cat up. Where you going, Coconut? What's your little life plan here? Hmm? You're gonna squawk at me and then run away? Is that the plan? What, I caught you? Impervious is great. I agree with that. But I think I'm gonna pick Deva form. It's a little kitty. You're on the internet, Coconut. Did you know? Did you know you're on the internet? This one's actually not free because somebody redeemed a bunch of them in chat, so I'm gonna take one of them away. Haha. There's pending Coconut rewards, just like there's pending exercise rewards. Yo, that's Coconut. She's adorable. Alright. Alright. Deva form is something. Deva form backflip. Alright, let's see if we can make it happen. Oh, we got an inserter. It's very slow, but, shoot. Well, I really wish I'd picked that consume now. We can't pick Velvet Choker. We could pick Calling Bell. Calling Bell's pretty good with lots of card draw. Because we can draw past the curse. Inserter's kind of a weird pick here. Inserter is good if we get another consume, but if we don't get another consume, we kind of just like get a bunch of orb slots and can't do anything with them because we're not going to find very many orbs, right? But I think it might be the pick here anyway. It is not good to take all the cards. You should definitely be skipping some of the time. You should think about the resource, the problems that your deck has in front of it. Like, think about what you would currently die to, and take cards that solve those problems. That's what you should be thinking when you pick cards. It's like, okay, I currently die to Gremlin Knob, so I need to take this ball lightning so that I can kill Gremlin Knob. That's the motivation. Otherwise, you should skip, because smaller decks are better in a vacuum. More consistent. What does Calling Bell do for us? It gives us strength scaling or energy are the most likely outcomes. What a hot mess. Corruption Deva form. Yeah, smaller decks are better. You can think about it, like, if that's too hard to think about it, you can also think about it as, like, I have a limit of, like, 27 cards, right? Like, I'm only allowed to put 27 cards in my deck, because that's, like, sort of roughly where you want to be. And so each card that you add, like, consumes one of those slots, and it means you can't add some other card later. I really want to take the inserter, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. We want a cool-headed. Cool-headed would be really good with, like, Deva form. I guess we've got corruption, though. Yeah, so 27 is my target. I go under that sometimes, and often I go over that. It's not uncommon to have, like, a 35-card deck. So it's not, like, a disaster if you go over, but, like... So 27 is sort of like an aggressive, low target. It's like a nice, thin deck. But often it's more than that. I think that, even that Silent, that was just like, it was 100% infinite on turn 1, I think it was still like 25 cards or something. Although most of those cards were just like, what was the combo? It was Concentrate and the card that draws 4 and discards 1. When I was new, I found it helpful to consider that every time I take a card, it reduces the chances I draw my other cards. Yeah, that is correct as well. That's the consistency argument, right? Acrobatics, yeah. Thank you. We could take Calling Bell just to try and catch up on our Relic Bar a little bit. Pretty far behind. Inserter doesn't really help us like solve any serious problems, I think is the problem with Inserter. So let's take Calling Bell. The bell tolls. Okay, we got a gear, so we got a plan for campsites. The run is going, I would say, sideways is the most accurate representation. During Act 1, we took 4 fights before the first elite, and the last fight was a horde of gremlins, and they took like 30 or 40 health from us. So we were planning on going to 3 elites in the act, but we had to divert to not do that. And so we got very few relics in Act 1, and we came to a shop feeling pretty desperate. So we picked a prismatic shard, and now we're just spinning around wildly, picking whatever cards seem good. I like this. I would like to be there. Let's go to shop after it too, but it's you only get to do 1 elite in the act. So this is a mechanic that gets unlocked. I am not sure how you unlock it, but the Mega Elite, which is what I refer to this elite that is on fire, to avoid confusion with these campfires. But the Mega Elite is one of the ways that you get the key, and then if you get all 3 of these keys, you get to go to the end of the game. Beating the game with Ironclad, Silent, and Watcher, or Defect. It doesn't look like there's a good path that involves multiple elites, unfortunately. It looks like all the good paths are like 1 elite. We could do like this fire before that elite, but then like, are we really going over here? I don't think so. It's just like a lot of fights and stuff. I'd rather have 2 fires in the shop. So that's a 1 elite path. And then like these 2 sort of do the same thing. So I think I'll just do this path over here that's got like a ton of question marks and fires. It makes me feel all nice and warm. Still 1 elite, but... Act 2 question marks are super good. I would love to have bites. Apparitions, I think, is probably a take 2. Playing like Apparition Deva form or Apparition Corruption is pretty good. Although I guess you'd play Corruption and then Apparition, but... Well, we have to choose here. We can do Corruption Zap Strike or Deva Form Strike. Or Deva Form Zap, I guess. I guess Deva Form Zap is better. We don't really have enough card draw for Deva Form to pay off huge, but I think I'm going to do Deva Form anyway. We have a lot of card draw ahead of us. Sweeping Beam and Backflip. So it'd be nice to have 5 energy next turn. Yeah, you can go pick some nice. You're not bound here. You're free. Okay, probably want to play this last defend because we're trying to save our health total. It's true. Corruption makes your deck cost less. Just draw all the cards. Do we have lethal? Probably. Max damage is ball lightning dual cast. I'm gonna assume we have lethal. Good. That's right. I'll toss you a sock. Pixel nice. Be free. Crush Droids makes people vulnerable. Really just looking for card draw. Either skill or attack based card draw would be really good. Oof. These guys are not good. I think we're going to auto shields before we backflip. That does mean we can't play Corruption or Deva Form, but that's okay. Alright. Can I go with a Sweeping Beam over Defend? Sweeping Beam, Pull Lightning. This fight's too fast for Deva Form to be good anyway. Not too fast for Corruption, but I don't think I want to pass up 3 attacks. This deck needs some more block on the Pronto. We're getting just beat up by these muggers. And here's all the block. Disaster. Looks like we get lethal though. Well, that went poorly. Thanks for the follow, Yagarilla. Appreciate it. Well, Piercing Wail's nuts. It's just a really good card. We need block, so Piercing Wail does that. Okay, sure. Welcome to the Vegetable Patch, Yagarilla. Sorry, I almost forgot. Gotta be welcoming people to the Vegetable Patch. We're gonna take 14 healing. We're at 9. Gonna go through a hallway fight after this. It's pretty silly to take healing on a path with 4 fires, but... man, choosing one of 20 cards from any of the 4 classes is crazy. You like kettle chips, huh? I think that's respectable. I'm not a big chip eater. Oh, I like just tortilla chips. Just like salted tortilla chips. Sometimes in nachos, sometimes just out of the bag. Oh, Prismatic doesn't affect this event. That's interesting. I don't pick Prismatic Shard a ton. We haven't seen a colorless card yet. That's kind of weird. Alright, let's take the healing. Oof. Gambling chip. Nice. Boy. How do we win this fight? Ooh, chocolate chip is also my pick. I have myself on a bit of a diet. I got a little bit too fat there. But I used to eat just like handfuls of chocolate chips. Now I eat exactly 1 chocolate chip at a time. That's one of the compromises I've made in my lifestyle. So there's like, we have a pantry over there. So I'll open the pantry, open the jar of chocolate chips, take 1 chocolate chip, put the lid back on the jar, close the door, and eat the chocolate chip. I can't just stand there and eat chocolate chips. An insight into the life of the streamer. Auto shields is good. We're gonna need that second lightning orb. We're killing Bird with just like Mercury Hourglass and lightning orbs, I think. Deva form seems like it's a little too slow. Yeah, it looks like we've died. Okay, well, rip, I guess. Well, this was a weird one. I don't know what to say. Yeah, we were really struggling here. I did call the dying in Act 2 ahead of time, but I also picked a Prismatic Shard and just like wildly picked all the rare powers. No, I knew I was going to die in Act 2. This was 100% a fight where I should have died. This was just the Reaper needed to come at some point. An Act 2 hallway fight is a great time for the Reaper to come for this deck. This made a lot of sense. If we'd taken the Inserter and the Consume, I think we could have pulled this one out. Probably shouldn't have taken should have taken like a Rip and Tear card remove at the shop instead of the Prismatic Shard, but where's the fun in that? Yeah, definitely made some irresponsible choices in this run. I think this was a winnable seed that I just like did the wrong thing on.